Well, if you've been watching, you know we've talked about how hard it is for people of color, women of color. But what about trans women of color and the violence they face? Isla Noyola, a trans Latina activist, fights every day for the rights of those in the LGBTQ community. Noyola is a co-founder of La Translatina and the deputy director of Mi Gente, and she works to improve the quality of life for trans people, women, and immigrants. And many times, that work can be dangerous.
You know, for many of our folks who've been doing this work, trans women in the community, the violence has always been there, and it's a part of our experience.
When you talk about survival, I mean, I asked you a question that was asked of me shortly after George Floyd's death and many of the protests and the conversations. Are you scared in your effort to bring awareness and fight against prejudice?
I mean, I think there's definitely moments of concern. There's moments of feeling the vulnerability of what it means to advocate. But at the end of the day, I guided and I feel the commitment, you know, because of the incredible loss, because of so many friends, personal friends, maybe so many folks in the community that have been violently taken away.
When I speak to someone who is so passionate about what they do, I often think about, okay, how did this begin?
So many of us, I'm just not reflecting on myself, but so many of us, like, we came in through this work, through the need and through trying to understand and make sense of the violence. And, you know, Victoria Arellano was a trans woman from Nicaragua, a trans immigrant woman who, you know, came to this country with so much hope. And I remember at the time I was a volunteer for this English language learner program, and she came in wanting to learn English because she wanted to advance herself in many ways and give back to the community. And that was violently taken away. And the loss was profound, but I also knew that, like, the vigils and the services and the protests wasn't going to be enough. And I was right, because, you know, even after her death, it didn't stop with her.
What do you say to people who don't understand, but they want to find a way for them to understand and also be a resource to you? What do you say to them?
You know, as you asked that question, I immediately thought of my family. I thought of my parents, who are pastors and here in the Bay Area. I grew up in a religious community, and, you know, it's been a conversation of over many, many, many years. So many of our communities are harmed because folks have lacked that courage to have those conversations, both internally and with each other, and, you know, within the community. And so I think baby steps are fine. I think knowing that you're probably going to make mistakes along the way, you're probably going to misgender people, and you're probably going to still struggle with some of these assumptions of how do you actually unlearn the ways that, you know, gender has been restricted, the ways that gender has been colonized, and the way that gender has been held so tightly to, you know, to be this institution in some ways.
As you're talking about offering support and help with Hispanic Heritage Month, can you talk to me about your organization and its focus on the Latinx community and providing assistance?
Yeah, I mean, Mi Gente's bottom line goal is building powerful, healthy communities that are not just in survival mode. And we're building power not just around direct services, not just around mutual aid, but we're building power through the electoral world. I think about Mi Gente in the ways that we are trying to understand all the different ways that we're attacked. And so for sure, whether it's through immigration, whether it's through housing or unemployment, because we know that no one's going to come to save us, that no one is going to come and offer sort of that help. And we continue to advocate, we continue to push around these issues.
It's so encouraging to see what you're doing. I think that it is empowering, and I know you've touched so many lives and you will touch many more. Isa, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.